So that was a quick time lapse, and what I've done is I've zoomed in, and I'm now trying to kind of consolidate her face, and I'm using a different brush, and from the brush selections, and trying to kind of get the colors to blend a little more. I mean, looking at it and doing this process of timing myself and or doing this in real time is when you're not, inside the artist's head and you're not seeing what they're trying to achieve, it could be tedious to see and wonder what's going on. But even for myself, looking back and putting this audio on, it's trying to understand fully, where my mind is going next is not as easy. But I can see that looking at it, I'll be trying to kind of pull the colors together, make it more unified. I have to do my audio kind of after a lot of the time from when I'm actually working, because usually inspiration comes whenever it comes. You can't really control that. But also usually the kids are around, and I can't do the audio then. So this is me doing the audio when, they're at nursery or at school, and I can have time to have some peace and quiet to actually record this and be able to remember what it is I'm doing as well. So as I'm looking at this and I'm seeing areas that I think I want to change. So at every point I'm always judging to see if the balance is right and what I can work on and where I still need to kind of tighten everything and what still needs to be adjusted. So I know that the color, the skin color and everything like that, I'm trying to get it a little bit darker. So I'm working on that. I know that I still have to do something with the rabbit. I always think of rabbits as really cute characters to have for children because I really like rabbits. And I used to have a pet rabbit called Smokey when I was younger. And I have like kind of rabbits for my kids as well, and they always seem like a friendly, innocent kind of animal to have around. You can have them, boys could have them, so my cute boy characters could carry a rabbit, or a girl. It's not something that is particular to one group of people. And I came to learn that they're a lot more, they're cleverer than I thought they were. When I got my pet rabbit, I realized that they're not just big rodents kind of creatures or mammals that just go around, being eaten most of the time and things, but they're actually quite clever. So that was what I got for my pet rabbit when I was younger. So here I'm just still going through the same process of looking and seeing if I think something's not correct or it's a little bit off. But also what I've noticed I like doing is, because I really love doing mixed media work, like physical paintings. I like to put mixes of paper and objects onto paintings and items onto paintings, and I think I've noticed that I like giving that kind of element to my actual digital work. So initially, like in the time lapse, I kind of used a lot of speckled effect dots and things to kind of make up the background, to get the mood and to get the texture in the background, so you can see the splattering that's everywhere, like in the rabbit's ear here, and in her kind of hairband. So I like to have kind of almost a mistake or an accident of splattering that crosses over to other objects or other characters in the actual work. So you find that, I think, in a lot of my digital work, that there's kind of an almost sometimes mixed media textural element to it. And you get some artists that will add photography to their digital work, and I've not quite gotten into that yet, but I get ideas for things that I want to do that are similar ideas of adding actual elements from photography into my work, and I'll probably do something with that in the future, but at the moment I'm still trying to figure out what my characters are about, and the different adventures I can send them on, because I'm very much into that idea of children and playing and being adventurous and investigating, and sometimes that investigation can lead to mischievousness and getting themselves in trouble, which I know very well with my own kids. But I'm constantly in my mind trying to tell myself that my kids need to be able to play, because they're still children, and that's what children do. They play, and as they play, they learn. So a lot of my characters are focused on that aspect of playing, and in that playing they're making discoveries, they're learning about themselves, they're learning to overcome things that they might be afraid of in the beginning. Because from watching a baby and watching them crawl and then to walking, it's quite a challenge that they go through, and I don't think that ever stops, that constant challenge of doing something that is new and uncertain. So that's why I think I focus a lot on the side of children and their adventures and how they investigate life. Because as adults, by the time we get to being adults, that same bravery that the children have and that boldness, I feel in some aspects it disappears. And as an artist, I think we're constantly having to challenge ourselves against a lot of our surroundings, because we are still playing. We're still looking at ourselves and what we're here for, because I think our minds don't think the same as people who are more technical in other areas, and so we are constantly having to battle against perceptions of people who don't understand why we are the way we are, and why we're so focused on just being creative and just exploring. And it's because it's an adventure. We are full of adventure, basically. That's what it is. We're full of adventure, and we're always investigating and exploring to see just what's around the corner. So it's and so that all involves storytelling and narratives that you can't put words necessarily sometimes down for people to see. You have to actually show them the vision, show them the picture of what's in your mind, and that's where we become visual artists. Is we are explaining to you visually what we can't explain to you with words. So arts covers a lot of areas, but in general I would say that every artist, we have our own superpower, and we're trying to explain what we are seeing through that. So if you're a writer, it's through words. If you're a dancer, it's through dance, singing. That's the way I look at it. So it's a lot of fun, basically, being able to explore these different elements through different tools. And I just think everybody should just be creative, and they shouldn't question why they're doing what they're doing. They should just do it. So, so this is a lot of fun, and I'm spending a long time on this face, tweaking and tweaking. And it's quite funny, because at the end of the day, when the print is done for this, this is how much work has gone into just doing this face. I mean, the print will be a bigger item, obviously, but it's like I spent so long on this face. And it's just interesting to watch it back as well, because while I'm doing it, I'm just thinking, right, this doesn't look right. I need to do this. I'm just calculating what needs to be where and how I need to fix what I don't think is right. But to watch it again and just basically, I'm not in that space in my mind directly because I'm not physically doing this at the moment. But it's just interesting to watch and to see that I must have some kind of a process. So it's like, wow. That's pretty awesome. So I'm working on the nose right now and trying to make it look like a nose and bring in the shadow in some areas. I think the more and more I am creating pieces, I am spending way more time than I used to, and trying to perfect it and trying to, or not even perfect it, to enjoy it and also to push myself to reach new levels, or new challenges for myself. Those butterflies in the background are stamps that I got from the community for Procreate, because the art community for Procreate is pretty awesome, because different people produce stamps and brushes, which they would give out freely and other people can use them as well, so it's pretty cool. And it's quite easy to make your own stamps as well, or brushes on this, so I'm planning to do some more of that as well. That's going to be fun. There's just too many things to enjoy actually on this app. It's just amazing and so affordable. It's ridiculous for what you get. It's just amazing. So I love it. So I'm working on the eyes here, and as an artist, one thing we're told is not to critique your work too strongly, but I know for myself that there's certain things I'm seeing I'm not happy with. So sometimes you let it go and you think, right, next time I will try and focus on that. But sometimes it's like, oh, I need to fix it. So that involves a lot of adjusting and trying to get it to be better. So as I'm looking now, I'm just seeing certain things. I'm like, oh. But it's just that doing and then letting it go, because the reactions I get from people for some of my work, or a lot of my work, is very positive. So I shouldn't be too critical on myself. One of my lecturers when I was at college quoted someone else and said to me that we are never the judge of our own art. As in, we would probably have a lot that we'd rather happen in our work, but at the same time, it allows us to keep pushing ourselves to do better. But people still recognize probably that potential and still appreciate your work, even before you achieve that potential, just to keep doing what you're doing and never to give up.